Brenda Sutton.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Today is Monday. Uh-oh, we can't hear Brenda. Today is Monday, April the 6th in the year of our Lord 2026. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing? I guess Brenda gonna get herself together here shortly. But as you can see, Brenda is bandaged up. I guess, her hands is making her brain go haywire too.
Okay.
Brenda?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, well, we just see looks like leopard print, something that's leopard print.
Oh, wow. What's up? Uh-oh.
Y'all pray for her. Pray for her, y'all. Pray for her. So anyway, today, like I said, today is April the 6th, the year of our Lord 2026. We're gonna let Brenda give her some time to get herself together. We had a weekend, guys. We had a really, really, really great weekend. Awesome weekend. Brenda's weekend was not so awesome. And when she joins us, I'm sure she's going to show you guys. But if you don't already know, Brenda was playing with her grandchildren and she broke both of her wrists. Okay. Playing with her grandchildren, she broke both of her wrists. She actually had to have surgery Thursday. So, yeah. So she can't drive. She can't do anything. Yeah. She can't drive. She can't uh, do any of the stuff that she would like to be doing or that she would normally be doing. So we want to send out a prayer request for Brenda. She on the sick and shut in list. Okay. So if you guys are there, make sure you drop down, share this, hit the share button, comment, let us know that you're in here, say hello. We're gonna give Brenda a chance to join back here in just a second. Anyway, I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about my weekend. I had a great, great, great weekend. We were working on some music. You guys know that I'm in a band. I'm a singer, so we're working on some great new original music that's going to be coming to you guys in the upcoming months. So that is actually how I spent my entire weekend. So we did what I call a woodshed event. We just the whole band came together. We locked ourselves in my place, my house, and we just created music the entire weekend. We came out with what I feel are some great, great numbers that we're gonna be really excited to do for you guys here shortly. So yeah, that's what we got going on. Again, if you are here, if you're listening, just drop down and say hello. We're trying to wait for Brenda to join back in with us, not quite knowing what's going on with you guys, but you guys drop down and tell us what you did this weekend, what's going on with you for this weekend. Also, we got some great things coming up. I do have my 20th year anniversary celebration we have coming up on Mother's Day weekend. It's actually going to be Saturday, May the 9th, and it is our Mother's Day celebration, our 20th year anniversary and Mother's Day celebration all in one. So make sure you guys put that on your calendar. Again, that is Saturday, May the 9th at our Ingleside Avenue location. The address is 2367 Ingleside Avenue. And that again is Saturday, May the 9th. We're going to start 12. We open at 10, but we're going to start the live music and everything at 12 o'clock. So make sure you come out, you bring your mom out. Lots of shopping, gift baskets for Mother's Day, pre-made gift baskets for Mother's Day. Ain't nothing in them baskets going to be from Dollar Tree. So, and not to down people that do Dollar Tree baskets, that's not what I'm saying, but all of our products are going to be authentic. They're going to be original, of course, from the Naturalista. So you're getting good quality organic products. So you guys come out and see us. Put that on your calendar, Saturday, May the 9th. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here.
Can you hear me this time?
We can hear you.
Okay. Can you see me?
Yes, we can see you
Okay.
or not. So anyway, you guys, again, thank you so much for your patience. We're going, old folks in technology, right? All we can do is just pray for her. So, like I was saying before, we do have a lot going on. Johnny has been traveling with his stage play, is doing extremely well. So I don't think he'll be in town today, so he won't be joining us today. Brenda, again, I'm gonna charge that to maybe a little brain fog. I'm not sure what she got going on, but she does not have the use of either of her hands, well, her arms. As you can see, they're both in cast. So, yeah, and she had surgery Thursday, so it looks like she's trying to join back in. I'm not sure she's trying to do why she's using the headphones today. But anyway, what else is going on with me? Like I said, we're getting prepared for Mother's Day. I'm super excited about that. Can you guys believe I have been in business this year? Will be 20 years that I have been in business. I started out on Vineville
Okay.
Avenue,
Okay, I'm
and
back. Can you hear me?
for the fifth time, yes, we can hear you. So I started out on Vineville Avenue 20 years ago. My son, I think, was in the second grade at the time. And I was there for about 9 years. Then I moved over to Ingleside for, I think, 6 years. I went over to Warner Robins for 5 years. I've been back in Macon on Ingleside for right at a year now. So I'm super glad to be back. So it's been 20 years, and I love Macon. I have to say, Macon is my city now. And it's been home for me, for my son. We both were born in Dallas, Texas, but he was raised here in Macon. So Macon is his home. Um, and we love it. I love the city. We do have Andrea Cook. I think is supposed to be joining us today. And early voting, if I'm not mistaken, starts tomorrow. So for District 5, those of you that live in the Pleasant Hill area, the District 5 area, they are having the runoff. So the voting will be starting tomorrow. There's Andrea. Hey, Andrea.
Hey, how's
I was
everybody?
just
Hi.
talking about you, Andrea.
I've been in the lobby for a little while, but I was eating chips, so I didn't want to turn my camera on.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for not for not
Can
eating
y'all
chips
hear?
with us.
Can y'all
Yes,
hear
we,
me?
we can hear you. We can hear
Thank
you.
God. Thank God. It has been a tremendous challenge to get through. I don't know what was going on with my computer, but it would not let me in. And I want to thank you, Emily, so much for working through those technical difficulties. That's what happens. Computers are
Well,
so
technology is technology, and we just have to try to work through it and do the best that we can. But I was talking about Andrea actually before she joined in, and we're talking about District 5 and getting back out to vote tomorrow. Is that correct, Andrea?
It started today. I voted today.
Oh, today. I thought it started tomorrow.
hmm
So it started today. And
hmm
who you're running off with?
Edward Foster.
At Foster. Okay.
hmm
So again, she said it started today. That's early voting.
Right. Early voting is from today until Friday. The only location that people can go is to the Macon Mall. I believe it's from 8:30 to 5:30.
Okay, so the Macon Mall, 8:30 to 5:30, and that's for District 5, and that's the runoff between Andrea Cook and Edward Foster.
Yeah.
And you guys get out there and vote. We appreciate those of you that voted the first time, but we need you to go back out again, go back out again, and take somebody with you that lives in District 5. So make your
and
Please.
vote
vote
for
count for
Andrea
two.
Cook. And vote for Andrea
Well,
Cook.
obviously.
That I wanted Andrea to come back on because somebody called me. I'm not going to say who it was, but I'm going to say they personally reached out, you know who you are, and said the
Back up from
reason
the
why they
camera.
didn't vote is because it, huh?
I say back up from the camera.
They said the reason why they, oh, can you see me now?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and they said the reason why they didn't vote was because they didn't know the candidates. And I'm like, I don't understand it because we have gone out of our way to make sure that you know about the candidates outside of their name. So, Andrea, we're going to give you give me your elevator speech on why people need to vote for you.
So hello everyone. I'm Andrea Cook. I'm running for District 5 County Commission. I have lived in District 5 for the better part of 35 years. I'm a mother of 8. I birthed them. I care for them. I got one grandbaby I'm so excited about. And I believe myself to be a true change agent. And I'm someone who doesn't need applause or a crowd to do any of the work that I'm interested in doing. I have no problem speaking up for myself and others and empowering other people to do the same. And I also really, really want to make sure through the fabric, the thread of everything that I do, I want my children to be proud of the work that I've done, and I want them to be proud of me. And regardless of any information, prompting, influence, you have not heard me say one negative thing about my opponent um at all. I wish him well in whatever it is that he intends to do in the future. However, I do believe that I'm the best suited for this position.
I actually
Okay.
believe that too. And you know the thing that kind of bothers me is how how we have people who feel it's their duty to go out and provide analytic commentary on the candidates, and they ain't been in politics that long to do it. You know what I'm saying? If
Mm-hmm.
you're going to provide commentary about opponents and stuff, you ought to really know politics because that's a whole different monster. That's why a lot of people don't even run for politics because it's dirty and it's nasty. And we have people out there making comments about things that they don't know anything about. Nothing. You know, I said it last week. You need to stick to your district. And I
Mm-hmm.
really mean that. You need to stick to your district. You know, believe me, it's enough to do over there in district. What is it? What's East Macon? It's enough going over there or going on over there in East Macon for you to stay over there in East Macon. And the truth be
It's,
told, what?
I'm just gonna tell you, it's District 2 and District 3 in East Macon.
District 2, District 3. And
Okay.
I'm gonna say this. The things that are going on over there in Elaine Lucas' old district. Y'all know what I'm talking about in East Macon. The progress that you see that has occurred over there in East Macon occurred because Elaine Lucas laid the foundation for it. Now, to me,
Mm-hmm.
give credit where credit is due.
Mm-hmm.
The Indian Mound, you know, those kinds of things. The other, what is that? Mill Hill in that Elaine Lucas district.
It is.
Mill Hill. Wasn't she the one who did like the Marriott and all of that? You know, all of these plans that have, I'm talking about that's old school, but all of these plans that have taken place over there did not start when y'all got that new commissioner. It started when you had your old commissioner. Now
I think
Mm-hmm.
he's getting the benefit from it where he looked like he doing some stuff, but that was a lane.
the what know about what's happening over in District 3 is the work that Elaine put in to get those that median put on Great Highway.
Hmm.
It makes it so much safer feeling to drive over there. People have a place to kind of be in when they're crossing the street, so they're not having to like, take dart out or be in the center lane waiting for traffic. I am incredibly impressed by the work that went into that. And because I've been to so many commission meetings, I remember her being excited about that finally happening.
Hmm. Well, I lived in East Macon the entire time I lived in
And I
Macon.
just
It's been in the east side of Macon.
Have you seen those new the what's happening on Great
and
Highway? How those the
Yes.
center median? It's amazing.
Yes, yes, I have, and it definitely. I will honestly say it's definitely been much needed. I wish it could have been there, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. But nevertheless, it's there now, and it was definitely needed. And as I think back, I'm like, how did we ever survive without it? Um, but and it was those of us that lived over there know exactly what I mean. Like, how did we survive without having that median? Because I know plenty of days on a daily it was Russian roulette. You
Yeah.
just had to dart out there and hope, that you could make it across from either direction. So, and that's actually went up since I moved from that area, which was approximately roughly 3.5 years ago or so. So, well, almost going on 4 years. But yes, a lot of the progress that's being made over there. I don't know if she had anything to do. I would think she would be instrumental in the new plans for the well, I don't know if it'll still be called the Centroplex, but all of that area over there, from the mounds to all of that area over there. But my focus right now obviously is on District 5, since that's where my store is. And what are some of the plans you think you have for that area? What do you plan on trying to bring to the area or implement to the area?
Um, I really want to increase people's opportunities to talk to their commissioner.
Mhm.
I don't want people to feel like they have to wait until a commission meeting. Um, or feel like they have to schedule an appointment. I really
Mhm.
want to create regular opportunities for people to interact. So
Mhm.
I am definitely going to be instituting some things where whether it's walk with your commissioner, because
Mhm.
I've been on a health journey, so I want people to feel to have more access to healthy options, but also like if I say that I'm going to be walking from here to here this day of the week, I want my constituents to feel comfortable in joining me. But
Mhm.
also hosting district wide meetings for people to interact, to tell me their concerns directly. I want to feel as accessible to the people that I'm serving as possible. So that's that. But also, like in some of my conversations with people all across the district, um, there are people who live in some of um, the neighborhoods that experience more blight, um, lower socioeconomic statuses, and they tell me, they want sidewalks. They want clear sidewalks to walk on.
Right.
right.
They want less trash at some of these dump sites that people use. I don't know why people have decided that some of our community members and their well-being and the well-being of the children who walk past these piles of trash, that they're not important. But working with organizations to create instead of monthly cleanups, I feel like we really need to have weekly ones.
I agree with you, Andrea. And I know I've been on those cleanups with her.
Mhm.
And I remember one that we did over in one particular area, and we found a knife
Yep.
in the
Yep.
bushes. Um,
Yes.
I'm like, and it was an elementary school too.
It
And I was
was.
like,
Mhm.
and you know where the men were, the black men, I'll never forget it. They were sitting on the side watching us women go over and pick up trash.
Mhm.
They didn't move, Emily, not one bit. They sat up there and watched us
Mm.
over there.
I'm not
Yeah.
surprised.
That was in South Macon, and so like with Georgia Women and Those Who Stand With Us, we did regular cleanups also. and it wasn't limited to one part of town. So like it's so doing that, but also like in some of the neighborhoods like Ingleside that
Mhm.
is more affluent, like there needs to be a speed table on that
Mhm.
street. I mean, just walking over there, you can see how the backs of people's cars lift up when they go over the existing speed hump.
Mhm.
But also like make it more safe, working to make it more safe for people to walk from one side of the street to the next, or for the people
Right.
that are walking to Ingleside from those neighborhoods. There's not a lot of easy, clear paths to get
Mhm.
there. And so that's something that's important to me too. Um,
Mhm.
Maintaining, I believe making as a city within a park, making sure that our parks stay clean, safe, accessible, but
Mhm.
also work with Judy Gordon, who runs the neighborhood watch programs, and the sheriff's department to encourage people to participate in neighborhood watch meetings and in their neighborhood meetings in general.
Mhm.
I think that a huge issue is that people don't feel connected anymore, um and so hopefully we can create some more opportunities, and we're working on starting. we're not we're not just talking about what or I'm not just talking about what I will do. I'm talking about what I'm doing right now. And so I'm excited to continue to get to do the work that I do, but I want everybody to know that their voice is necessary, whether they need a lot in their neighborhood or whether they need a little.
Well,
Mhm.
well, I just appreciate you. I would say that I'm a little prejudiced because I just love Miss Cook, and for those who know me, know that I support who I support, and I love Emily and all the people at 107.9 who are always there for me. I love my people, and I'm supportive, and I'm about that,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
I know her, and I know that she's going to do a good job. So I encourage you to go out
Mhm.
and please don't tell anybody that you didn't vote because you didn't know the candidate. Because, I know that Miss Cook is accessible. And if you wanted to know something, wanted to know about her, you could have very easily just called the radio and asked for me. And I would have told you, or I would have given you her number. I would have called her on the phone and said, will you talk to whomever this person is because they want to know more about your platform? So, let that not be an excuse for not voting for her because you don't know her.
Can I add, like there was somebody who I'm not going to say anybody's name, but I do very much remember this person's name, and they listened to y'all show, and they called me at the Booker T. Washington Center, and left a message for me, saying they wanted to just talk to me, and I gave them a call back, and we had about a 15-minute conversation about him telling me that I believe he talked to you, Emily,
Mhm.
and didn't know much about me. I told him that if he ever sees me out and about, to stop me, to talk to me. I'm so open to it. He said he would. I was very moved by the conversation.
Mhm.
And I understand, even with this person, I'm almost certain that he did not vote for me. And that doesn't bother me, that that he didn't vote for me. He likely won't vote for me this time. But I don't look like this work, regardless of what happens, whoever the commissioner is, we serve everybody in the district.
Mhm.
And for the people who say that they don't know me or they haven't had an opportunity to interact with me, um I'm sure that there will be a time where we'll be able to meet, and there's something that we have in common where we can work
Mhm.
together. So I'm, even just from having a conversation on y'all's prior show, or whatever happened in the transaction or the conversation that you had with this person, Emily. I
Mhm.
I was he called, left a message, and I called him back. So
Mhm.
I'm super accessible. Um and I encourage people to to please reach out. I can't, there's no way for me to be everywhere. At I'm
Mhm.
trying to reach every person, um but I look forward, like, so if somebody wants me to come in their neighborhood and I haven't been there, invite me, meet me, and my team and I
Mhm.
will come.
Well,
Yeah.
we just appreciate you for coming on today, Miss Cook. And let's
Thank
see
y'all
Yeah.
for having me.
how many votes we got. Let's see how many people went out and voted today. I
Oh,
called
I'm excited.
the number and I wasn't able to get it, but as soon as I get it, y'all look on the internet because you know that I would definitely put it out there
Mhm.
so that we'll know who's out there and active. We appreciate you, and
Thank
um,
you.
and we're going to
Mhm.
celebrate in the beginning. We're going to already go and celebrate because that's how we do it. We walking on that faith. So,
Yes,
um,
That's
ma'am.
right.
Y'all enjoy the rest of your show. Thank y'all for having me. I'll see
All
y'all next
right.
time.
all
All right.
righty,
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
bye. Boy, Emily, I don't know what happened. I think out here where I live, they always doing something, and so they were replacing the fiber optics out here, and so the
Mhm.
is not working. And for y'all that saw me grimacing, that is because I am in intense pain. Um, I, you know, I thought it was a good thing to teach the children how to play two square. I grew up playing ball outside. I want to
I
celebrate
thought
my
it was four square.
huh.
I thought it was four square.
Well, it is four square, but you can play four square, two square. And one of
Okay.
the things that I've learned, in doing this particular work, our children don't know how to play. And this is going to lead into our next conversation. For y'all to know,
Mhm.
my mother is very, very sick. And so I thought we would take the children outside and teach them how to play. Um, because they had all kind of balls and stuff. They've been coming in the house musty. And I laugh about it. I said, that's a good thing. I can't remember the last time the children played so hard they stank when they came in. All you had to do, you had to run them upstairs and get them in showers and stuff like that. And I
Mhm.
decided that I was going to hit this ball hard to Ricky. I was going to tear his little butt up. And I forgot and tripped. Um,
Mhm. You were diving for the ball. Oh, okay. I think she's froze again. Um, I don't know why she just won't use the data on
wearing
her
flip
phone.
flops. I'm going. You know what? Let me see if. What about now? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Mhm. How you doing, Ricky Crawford?
Hey, Ricky Crawford. So I realized something, Emily, that while we fuss at these children and we
Mhm.
say, "Oh, these children, they don't go outside, they don't do this, they don't do," no, because we have taken away their imagination. They don't know how to go outside and
Mhm.
play because we was told to go outside to play, and all we had was a stick or what
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, rocks, marbles,
Mhm.
or whatever, and we were forced to figure out how to come up with games to play. And I realized in teaching the child to play, which after I failed, they thought it was fun. I had really hurt myself. And then Michelle went out. Michelle is my daughter. Michelle went out and bought chalk. Child, you'd have thought that she had spent $100 on chalk. They out there just drawing on the sidewalk, just drawing on the driveway,
Mhm.
and just had a ball, just
Mhm.
just playing. And so they went out and they played Foursquare because it was, they did all of that. And so again, what I realized is that we hadn't taught these children how to play. They don't
Mhm.
know how to do it. We don't let them get dirty. We don't let them play
Mhm.
in dirt. We don't teach them how to play ball. and then we
Mm-hmm.
penalize them for always picking up the electronics. And so
Mm-hmm.
that
I
is,
agree.
yeah. Now,
You know, I'm an anti-electronic, especially in small children. I think, and I've talked about this multiple times on the show, that I just don't think that children need cell phones until they get, maybe 14 and up. When my son was younger, 16 was my limit for him. He couldn't have a cell phone until he was 16, because I always felt like you're at school all day, which, some may say this is untrue, but I would want to call it one of the safest places you could be. You're at school all day. I drop you off in the mornings and I pick you up in the afternoon. So what do you really need a cell phone for? If you're with me and you need to use a phone, you can use my cell phone. But now it's become such a norm that the younger children have cell phones, and it's because they pressure the parents and over and over and again. Well, Susie has a cell phone, Peter has a cell phone, Charles has a cell phone, Chris everybody has a cell phone. So the parent eventually gives in because they don't want their child, to have to go to school and deal with not having. So instead of teaching the children, you don't have to have everything that everybody else has. They just give in. So now you have a school full of kids that have cell phones and iPads and tablets and smart watches, Apple watches, Android watches, et cetera, et cetera. And they don't know how to enjoy themselves because all they want to do is make TikToks. All they want to do is, be on the phone and be on social media. And so, like you said, it's taken away their ability to know how to have fun. I have a really good client of mine. She's been teaching, I think now 20, 26, 27 years. And she told me, she said the biggest issue that she has with her children, she was in fourth grade. She taught fourth or fifth grade, and now she's in middle school, which is sixth, seventh, and eighth. She said the number one place where all the children fail is critical thinking. So they do not have critical thinking skills. And some people may know what critical thinking skills is, some may not. But critical thinking skills is the ability for them to think logically, think practically, plan, do strategic thinking. All of that is falls under the critical thinking category. And she gave me an example that was, super, super, it just blew my mind. So basically, the example that she gave, and this was, example of critical thinking, was Susie was on her way to work, and she had on heels, and one of her heels broke. By the time Susie got to her job, her heel was broken, and next to her job, there was a shoe store. What do you think Susie should do? Now, you and I, the logical thing we would say, Susie needs to go into the shoe store and buy a new pair of shoes, right? She said the children either said, I don't know, go barefoot, go back home and get another pair of shoes. They said everything but the logical thing, which was go to the shoe store next door to her job and just get another pair of shoes. And when she gave me that scenario, it just made me think like, you're right. These children don't have critical thinking skills. Like she said, the majority of them said, go back home, not go, buy a dollar pair of shoes, flip flops at Dollar Tree. She said the majority of them said, just go back home.
And Emily, I spoke to an educator over the weekend because, Bibb County has got that new rule about no cell phones. And I know that is
Mm-hmm.
controversial simply because
Mm-hmm.
there's some that say the schools are not safe and they're not this and they're not that. And she talked about the basis of fights and conflicts
Mm-hmm.
that occur in school. They are centered around electronic media, passing,
Mm-hmm. Oh, we lost Brenda again. But she is correct. A lot of the fights that start at school are centered around the internet. Something someone said on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat. And the kids bring that back to school the next day and they're fighting over it. They're fighting about what someone said about them on Instagram and, so on and so forth. So it does pose, a massive challenge. And I think those of you guys that are paying attention to what's going on here in Georgia, they did pass a bill, just got passed here in Georgia, saying banning all cell phones from high schools. So if you're in high school, you'll no longer be able to use your cell phone during school hours or have your cell phone, at school during school hours. And that bill was passed in April, I believe, just a couple of days ago. But either way, I know it was controversy. I posted on it about it on my social media. Most people agreed, but you had some that did not agree. And she's back. There we go.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm on my phone because I couldn't do it on my computer, and someone keeps, and this is just off subject, but if you don't answer your phone call, this is really um a symptom of an issue of just
Mm-hmm.
I denied the
I already know
call.
where you're going. I know where you're going with
Yeah, and
this.
then you just keep on calling. Well, I've already denied
Mm-hmm.
it. And then the last
Right.
message is who this is. Who this is somebody who don't want to talk to you. That's who this is. I mean,
Right.
I,
Yeah, and my biggest, I fuss about this all the time. Cell phones, people, they, and this is kind of off topic, but it kind of refers back to, we'll tie it back in. Just because I have a cell phone does not give you 24 access to me.
say it again, Emily.
Okay.
Say it
Let me say
again.
it again. Just because
Say
I
it
have a cell
again.
phone does
Uh-huh.
not give you 24 access to me.
Thank
It
you.
doesn't give you 24/7 access to me. Cell phones are supposed to be used, let's say for emergency situations or, when you're out about, but it is not an avenue for you to find out where I am at all times, what I'm doing at all times. But most importantly, people have become entitled to your time. So they feel if I call you, you should answer the phone. And so I find often I have a few friends that have a really big issue with that. And I said, listen, I have a whole life going on. I'm running a
Say it.
business. I have a band. I have a son that's a school teacher that's also trying to work on his master's. I have an entire life going on. I cannot answer the phone every time you call just because you want to talk to me. I miss the days of just having a home phone. Now the
I
cell
do too.
phone, has its purpose, and we love our cell phones. We've become our lives depend on our cell phones at this point. But I honestly miss the days where we just had a home phone and you didn't feel like you had to talk to me 4 or 5 times a day.
And I think the thing with me with the cell phone, I was just like, I mean, I've had to do this twice since I've been on air, and because I didn't pick it up right away, I'm like, I don't have to pick up your call right away. Maybe I'm asleep. Maybe I'm using the restroom. And in my
Mm-hmm.
case, maybe I can't pick it up because I can't hardly hold nothing with either of my hands. So you at least show some grace because I mean, there's just not a whole lot I can do. Um,
or or maybe I just don't want to, and that's the key. This, and I want to stress this point. Sometimes I just need some quality time to myself. I need some me time. I may not answer the phone simply because I don't want to. I don't have to have an excuse or a reason to not answer my phone. I don't.
and
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 that's the issue
and
that I think we need to press and we need to push. People need to understand. I don't have to answer my cell phone just because you call. It could be, I don't want to talk to you or
and
I don't
and
want to
and
talk, period.
and getting back to the kids, because you say, well, why did it's some children who are addicted to those phones to the extent
Yeah,
that if they don't
it's
get
bad.
it's bad, and it's a fact. So I feel badly for our educators, and that's all of them who are going to have to deal with these children who are coming off the addiction of the phone. It's some children that's
Mm-hmm.
going to show enough fight about them phones now. Now I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, exactly what's what,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Well, the
but
bill
it's a
passed, and
mess.
I think I was going to pull it up had we been actually in the station today. But I mean, basically, they banned the use of cell phones in all high schools. Now, Bibb County has had that law in place, or that rule rather, in place for several years. But here's the thing: I had one of my Facebook followers. He just decided he wanted to go back and forth with me, and I said it doesn't matter if the rule has been implemented 7 years ago, 5 years ago, or 2 years ago. If it is not being enforced, the rule might as well not exist, right? So
Right.
you have ordinance, or I don't know what it's called, but one of the codes of rules of conduct in Bibb counties, they're not supposed to have their cell phones out during the school day. Well, you and I both know that's not the case. I volunteered in not all the schools, but several of the schools in Bibb County, and I've seen it firsthand. They do not enforce the no cell phone policy. It's never really been enforced. There's a couple of schools that have there's Bibb County has a dress code. They don't enforce the dress code. I've seen multiple people out of dress code on a daily basis, and nothing is done. So if you have a law that's been implemented, it doesn't do any good if administration doesn't enforce it. So one of my parents' complaint was, well, the schools are not safe and my child needs their cell phone. I said, so you think that the cell phone is going to make them safer? I want you to think about what you're saying. So you think that if your child has a cell phone, somehow that'll make them safer? If there's and God forbid this, but if there's a mass shooter in a school, how do they figure a cell phone is going to make the child safer? I said, if anything, if the child is trying to make calls or you're trying to call them, they're fumbling with a cell phone, they're more likely to get harmed, shot, trampled because they're fooling with a cell phone. Is that Johnny?
Yes.
All right, so we got two phone fumblers. Hey, Johnny.
You can't hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, good. I was on the spaceship Artemis, and we were on the other side of the moon, and that's why you all couldn't hear me.
Well, welcome back.
You're welcome. Brenda. Can Brenda not hear me?
I guess not. She's been struggling with her phone since we started at
Oh,
5:30.
I forgot she didn't have any hands.
Well, no, it's not just the internet that's the issue.
Yeah, because I've been having a hard time too trying to find y'all. So how y'all doing? How you doing today, Emily?
I'm doing wonderful. How was your weekend?
It was all right, but what you fussing about the cell phones? What happened?
No, they the state of Georgia passed a bill banning the use of cell phones in all the high schools now.
What?
And so
When was that?
Students. I'm sorry, say that again.
Phone caller.
Hello, caller.
Hey, Emily.
Yes.
Emily. This Leon.
Hey.
It's been a bill passed to ban the cell phone.
Uh-huh.
That don't make a whole lot of sense.
Okay, tell me your thoughts on it.
Okay, I can understand that the use of cell phones improperly. I get that. I understand that. You don't want you don't want anything to take away from a child learning, but you need a cell phone. With all the evenness that's going on in this world today, you need to have an open line of communication just in case of a mass shooting. I'm not using that as an excuse, and certainly a cell phone is not going to make anybody safe. Let me be clear. But if someone is taken hostage in a school, you need outside communications. Now, with my 60-some years in the public service connector, I'm not going to stand by and let anybody take them hostage. If I go by a school and they got a hostage situation, I can tell you now, I'm going into school. We can come out together, and they can roll both of us out. That's part of my training. But I don't understand that. You want to ban something? I mean, that's one of the very reasons you should watch who you vote for and get your behind to the polls to vote. That don't make no sense. Okay? Everybody got their opinion. You're entitled to yours. I'm entitled to mine. They're entitled to theirs. But banning the cell phone in the school, that don't make any sense at all.
Wait a minute. Let me ask something. Is it banning the use of the phone or banning having a phone on your possession? Which one is it?
Well, it's that's the issue. So it's the use of the cell phone during the school hours. So therein lies the issue, which is what a lot of administrators are saying and what a lot of the teachers are saying. That is extremely hard to implement. So if you tell the child, okay, you can bring the cell phone to school, but you can't use it during instruction. How are you supposed to stop a child from sneaking to use their cell phone? How do you stop a student from sneaking to use their cell phone? How do you stop them from using it in the hallway? How do you stop them from making TikToks, recording fights? That is the issue. Bibb County has had that in place for many years. It's just not enforced. So you have the issue of it's.
With the instructors, will the teachers be allowed to have cell phones, or is banned across the board?
The teachers can have cell phones.
Right. Yeah, the teachers can have cell phones, but I think the reason why is it has gotten so bad that the students aren't paying attention because they keep using the cell phones. Now, again, like I said, Bibb County has had this in place for years, but the administrations don't enforce it. Now, there are a few schools that I know for a fact collect cell phones. When the students walk in the building, they have to turn their cell phones in. And that is probably something that they, will have to implement in all of the schools. But there is one high school in particular in Bibb that I know that does that, and they get their phones back at the end of the day. And from what I was told by administration, it has helped tremendously in the children's learning and their focus. They don't, the fights have dropped, I think she said 70, 80%. Like the cell phones just cause such a distraction. It's better for them to not have it. Now, I understand, like you said, if there's a hostage or a shooting situation, a child having access or the people on the outside having access to someone on the inside. But again, my argument with that is we're talking about children that a lot of times don't think logically. So if somebody's in the building shooting, I feel like you need to be focused on getting to a safe space and being quiet. But children don't have critical thinking skills. So the first thing they're going to do is try to pull out their cell phone and record. Well, what happens if the shooter hears you on the cell phone? So you're putting yourself more at a risk by trying to record as opposed to getting to somewhere safe and being quiet. But which is why I said the cell phone is not going to make you safe. If somebody's shooting, they're shooting.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that one. That's a bill that don't make no sense.
Yeah, it's causing a lot of controversy, but it's passed. So I think they've left it, from my understanding, they're leaving it to each county to figure out how they're going to implement that. But I knew it was coming because I've seen it in a lot of other states, and I figured Georgia would be one of the last states to kind of catch on to it. But it passed, I think, just a few days ago, for Thursday or Friday of last week.
It did pass. And I think that the problem, Leon, is not so much, and I would just say all of them. I mean, there is a safety component, but from what I understand, they have a problem with the children taking the phones in the restroom and videotaping fights and videotaping other activities in the restroom, and then taking those tapes and pass them around. So I believe that's what they're really targeting and trying to stop. So it's a catch-22. I don't know if there's a good answer for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So here's my question again. Are they banning them to have phones on their possession to even bring them into the school? Are they banning the use of the phone? Can they bring the phones in and not use them, or can they not bring them in at all? That's my question.
From what I understand, they cannot bring the phones. They should not bring the phones to school. Let me just say it like that. Now,
so still no clarity.
Does it mean that the
So,
children will sneak and bring the phones and leave them in their bag? Probably. And
so
as a,
and so
and
that so Johnny, like I was saying, that has been the case. The children are supposed to, like, they can't stop you per se, right? Of bringing the phone, but you're not supposed to use the phone during school hours. So from the beginning of school to the end of school, there is no use of the cell phone is permitted. It's banned. The issue is they can't stop the children from using a cell phone unless they confiscate it when school starts. There is one school in particular in Bibb County that does that. They take the phones as soon as the kids come into the building. You have to hand over your phone because there's no way for me to stop you from using your phone during the day. I can't stop you. So, I can't keep my eye on 700 students.
Yeah, I tell you what, instead of passing a bill like that, they ought to pass a bill on no bullying.
oh, I
That's what
agree
they
with
Mhm.
that.
ought to focus on that.
But and that phone is used for bullying, Leon. That's the
Mhm.
other piece. Because they do these children do some terrible things with their phone. That means things that you and I haven't even heard of, some of the mess that they do. And
Mhm.
I mean
All
all
right,
of them.
thanks for taking my call.
Thank you,
Oh,
Leon.
thank you,
Appreciate you.
Leon.
You know what though, but I know he's thinking about safety, and I'm thinking about safety too, in one respect. But then the other thing is, just like I like for Denver to have her phone, which she's not supposed to have it, on days that we don't really know how we're gonna pick her up. And so the
Mhm.
thing of it is, take the phone to school, keep it in your locker. I mean, keep it in your book bag and stuff. And then after school, you know, let me find out, how we're going to get you picked up, who going to pick you up today,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. Because I don't want to, I guess I could call the school and, and worry them, or I could just like text her on her phone and she could see it. So I'm really caught in a bind myself, the truth be told.
Well, I think the other issue too with this is you have the parents that are abusing the use of the cell phone during the day. So you have parents that are calling the kids in the middle of the school day. You have parents that are texting the children in the middle of the school day during instruction. So that becomes an issue because how do you tell a student, get off your cell phone? The student said, "This is my mama. I'm talking to my mama." So the teacher is like, "Okay, that's your parent, but I'm your teacher." The kid is, "This is my mama. I got to answer her call." So you have children answering their parents' phone calls in the middle of instruction. So this is a bigger issue than I think most people really realize, especially those that are not actually in the classrooms that are teaching. It is a major issue and it
It is.
causes massive disruption. And, back in the day, we always talk about back in the day, but the truth of the matter is every one of us that is on this call right now, we managed to go our entire career from kindergarten all the way through high school and most of us college without a cell phone. So when
That's
you
right.
ask yourself, how did we survive for 18, 19 years without a cell phone? We did it.
Notes. We had a note, and maybe the conversation to have, because it did force you to plan more, because
And
you
there you
had to
go.
plan, because you
And
you
that was
you
what my point was when I talked about it or discussed it on Facebook, is our parents were parents back then. They knew exactly who was going to pick you up, what time you was going to be
That's
picked
true.
up. You knew exactly where to be standing when that person got there to pick you up. If you were a latchkey kid, they gave you a key. You knew to take your butt home, let yourself in and close that door and lock it. And once you got home, you had a home phone at home. So big, and people are using the excuse, well, that we need to sell the kid. We need to be, no, you don't. Because we are, and I said that to everybody that's saying, my kid need a set. You didn't need one.
Well,
And yes,
and
there are
and
school
and
shootings, but we have to be practical. Yes, there are school shootings, but it's not like it's a school shooting every day. When was the last time, or if ever, was there an actual massive school shooting in Bibb County schools?
well, let
And
me
I,
just
I
say
mean,
this, and
if
it
there
goes,
has been one, somebody let us know. But as far as I know, Bibb County has never had a mass
and
shooting
and
in
the
any
other
school.
piece, like I said, as parents, now let's think about this, and we'll talk about it later on. is that it was more structure. And there were a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things that we had to do when we got home that we knew we had to do it. And it was, we didn't have the kind of choices that the children had now. Now maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
economics and the parents had to work, but I knew parents that had to work, and them children better not go outdoors when their parents got home.
Mm-hmm.
But
All
anyway,
right,
I
you guys.
appreciate
We love y'all.
y'all.
We'll talk to y'all next Monday. Bye.
Peace out.
You've been listening to All of a Sudden. Join them every Monday evening from 5:30 to 6:30. All of a Sudden with your host, Brenda Sutton. That's every Monday. We'll see you there.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the